Live in a minute 20. Live in 20.
Oh, there we are.
Or early.
We're going to figure that out one of these days. I'm going to get everything said correctly. It's going to be nice and sexy and awesome, but not today. That's okay because this is only the second one. Hello, everybody. It's the Plot Hole with let's see, which way are they? There's your Eugene is here. JL is there from the Weekend Horror Podcast. And then I got Keith. Wait, where Keith is? That way. And then we've got Sean the Man this way. And today we are going to be debating Scream, the Scream franchise. Best in series, the Master Debaters. It's time. Ghostface, be damned. Be sure to contribute get into the live chat and make sure you answer all of our trivia questions, because whoever gets the most trivia questions correct will win a prize that I've got wrapped up. It's this thing right here. It's really cool. What's inside is really cool, but I'm not going to pull it out because it's a poster, and if I pull it out, getting it put back in is a pain in the ass. But here it is. So we got prizes. All right, everybody go around the room, and let's start with Eugene, and tell us a little about yourself and what you got going on, what film you'll be defending. Just a quick introduction. Let's see what you got.
All right. My name's Eugene, and I am co-host of the podcast Weekend Horror, and I'm going to be talking about the first, best, and original Scream movie. a little bit more. I mean, I can give you my life story if y'all want it, but
whatever you feel is important.
The weather was cool and hot. My father saw my mother standing across the pier.
The breeze went through her hair. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I'm ready to get it started.
Rockin', let's go. Let's go to JL.
Hey everybody, I'm JL, creator and co-host of Weekend Horror. I work with Eugene, and I will be defending Scream 2 as the absolute best of the franchise.
Scream 2. All right, there we go. And then just below JL, we've got the man of mystery. Can never see his face. The wonderful Irish Sean.
Oh, Jesus. I'm Sean. I'm the master of nothing. I'm the creator of garbage. And I'm going to defend the worst sequel, the best worst sequel ever made, Scream 3.
All right. And then my good pal over there, who's being kind of hidden by the plot hole. That's okay, though, because we don't really want to see him anyway.
No.
I'm just teasing you, Keith.
No, he's not.
Yes,
No, he's not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself there, Keith.
Well, I'm the official volunteer special correspondent for the Plot Hole on www.rockmetaltalk.com. Pretty much specialize in culinary, comedy, music, and art, and kind of a fly on the wall and background moderator.
Rockin'. I'm Johnny O from the Plot Hole. That's all you need to know. Let's kick this pig. Sorry about the tardiness, but we were waiting on some people to. We got people that had broken backs, and one guy just didn't show up. So what are we gonna do? Broken back.
I think Keith should do Scream 4.
Oh yeah, Keith, have you seen Scream 4?
I'll be completely unprepared. I would just be making shit up. I'd be like, he came out of a ditch and he was a clown, And then also,
That's not too too
and
far
then he was
off.
wearing a hockey mask, and all of a sudden he had like this like machete, and he was chasing after this girl, but she wasn't. Should have been running faster, but she kept tripping over her feet, like she's never walked before, like an infant.
Sounds
So
about right.
that's pretty much how it would go.
That's
Yep.
exactly right.
This is why Keith is below the line.
This is like Keith.
Damn.
All right.
Hey, give me some Richard Pryor, some Eddie Murphy. We're talking.
Oh yeah. One of these days we're gonna do the comedy stuff, but for now I enjoy doing the horror films because I don't know, I'm a horror nerd. What can I say? All right.
I'm gonna defend Carlin.
You're gonna defend
Oh,
Carlin?
Carlin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's too easy though. That's cheating.
All right, I'll defend Leary.
Okay. Dennis Leary.
Oh, fucking Larry.
All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the first trivia question before we kick it on over to the opening arguments. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and not 4 because 4 is not here. So before we start with our opening comments, I want to know who was the actual voice of Ghostface? What is the actor's name who was the actual voice of Ghostface? And then we're going to kick it over to JL.
But I thought we were going to start with Eugene.
Is Eugene doing number 1 or number 2?
Yeah, I'm doing number 1.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm doing a number. I'm doing a number 2.
That's it. You already. Eugene did a number 2
Oh,
earlier. My
Jesus.
mistake.
Damn it,
I had
JL.
to clear out the system, make myself lighter.
Good job, Johnny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I fucked it up earlier. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eugene.
What the fuck is going on?
All right, so somehow I have to follow that. All right. Everybody knows the best is the original. When you think of iconic years in horror, such as years like 1968 with Rosemary's Baby and Night of the Living Dead, 1996 is always a year that people talk about. And the reason for that is because you have Scream. When it came out, it was the meta slasher film. It was the one that not only acknowledged all the rules and then decided to go ahead and break them and turn it on its head. This was the setup. The slasher genre was dying at this point as franchises were going down the tube. As we start seeing things almost to the point of Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey. I mean, this was the point that the slasher genre got to. And then Wes Craven takes it and goes, you know what? Not only am I master this genre, I'm going to go and I'm going to reinvent this genre itself. Because he is the master of that. And this is where Scream came from. It is the ultimate meta slasher that spawned 10 years worth of slasher films that came out, things like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend and H2O and so forth that came from this. And this was the movie that got people reintroduced into horror because in 94 and 95, people thought that the slasher genre was dead. That it was. Not only that, it established Ghostface as one of the last true iconic villains in horror, on the level of like Freddy Krueger or Jason or Michael Myers. Now, what makes this particular one, because they're all meta, and they all the second one will go and talk about the sequels, the third one talks about ending trilogies, and the fourth one talks about reboots. But what sets the first one apart? And the thing that sets it up, starting off right off the bat, is the first 10 minutes of the film. How many films have the guts? You'll see what I did there in a second. Have the guts to kill off your only named star in the first 10 minutes. Because, yes, we know Courtney Cox today, and we know Neve Campbell, and sure, they're famous now. But when this movie came out, Friends has been on the air, I think maybe 2 years at this point. Courtney Cox wasn't really solidified yet. Neve Campbell still on Party of Five, was still an upcoming. So the only person you had of recognition was Drew Barrymore. And that opening kill is still brutal. It's still iconic. When you think of the Scream franchise, that's your go-to kill. Yeah, the other films will start off with Jada Pinkett Smith and some others that'll come off and, oh, here's a big name for shock value. But this was the one that solidified. This was the one. Drew Barrymore is on a poster of this film, and out of all the people lined at the bottom, she's the biggest. She's the most prominent. So when she was killed off, it set the tone that no one was safe. And this was the tone of the entire film. And this is the one, as it progressed on, this made the career of Neve Campbell. It made the career of Courtney Cox. And this was the one that you recognize the tropes that it was going for. And it was something that people have not seen before, and that's why this film was so successful. Sure, the other films have higher body counts because there's only 7 deaths in Scream. A couple have a few gorier kills, but this is the one that set the stage. It was so successful. You had a sequel that came out was like next year. I think it was the 97, which is just unheard of how long it takes to make a film. So Scream 1 is the best one out of all of them. Some of them may have some other funny moments. Some of them have some kill here or there. But in terms of a whole movie through and through, this set the tone for the other Scream movies and the whole slasher genre as a whole. Scream is by far the best of the franchise.
All right. We're going to kick on over to J.L. Warren, and he's going to talk to us about Scream number Deuce. All right, here we go.
All right. So after Wes Craven's Scream exploded into the horror zeitgeist and altered the very foundational approach to slasher and satirical horror, Kevin Williamson was given the daunting task of developing a sequel that could push the series and the genre even further. Now, expanding on the story of Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott and her closest friends as they moved from high school to college, Williamson broke from satirizing the slasher genre itself and moved on to satirize the cliches of doing sequels. Returning with Campbell are all the survivors from the original film and a few new faces to add to the body count. Now, given all the talent behind and in front of the camera and the incredible demand for the sequel to the 1996 hit, there are a number of reasons as to why Scream 2 is the strongest film of the entire Scream franchise. Number 1, Scream 2 was directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson, the powerhouse duo that gave us the original Scream. It's always excellent when you have your creative minds behind the start, always come back for a second one. Number 2, with demand for the film so high and fans desperate to know the identity of Ghostface early on, the original script was actually leaked to the internet. Now, realizing it would be difficult to keep the identity of the killers a secret, Williamson created multiple dummy scripts, and the actors only knew what was actually happening on the day of shooting, sometimes shooting scenes that had nothing to do with the film itself, in order to protect the ending from being spoiled. No film before Scream 2 had been forced to use such tactics to prevent its ending from being ruined, utilizing tactics that are commonplace today, as we've seen throughout the entirety of the Marvel Studios films. Scream 2 set that standard. Hence, the popularity of Ghostface, the popularity of the franchise is demonstrated right here at this point. Now, everything about Scream 2 capitalizes on what worked in the original Scream and maximizes it to incredible effect, from the graphic violence to the black comedy to the film within a film concept, which would run through the rest of the films. Further expansion of the overarching narrative without eating time into explanatory exposition, and a twist that was both inspired, unexpected, and cliched enough to fit with the overall message of the film. That is stellar writing. This was Kevin Williamson at his peak. Number 4, even the soundtrack for Scream 2 featured Mark Beltrami, Hans Zimmer, and Danny Elfman, and it was an outstanding success, hitting number 50 on the Billboard 200 for a soundtrack that is unheard of. The evolving themes of each character was so perfectly reflecting of their growth within the film that the soundtrack was cited as one of the most memorable aspects of the film. Number 5, with the inclusion of more well-known actors such as Jada Pinkett Smith, Omar Epps, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Timothy Olyphant, Portia de Rossi, Rebecca Gayheart, Joshua Jackson, and a few others, and the film within a film, Stab, starring in-joke Tori Spelling, Heather Graham, and Luke Wilson. This not only improved the pedigree of the film, but played upon the film's own self-awareness that few slasher films, and especially sequels, actually have, allowing the film to resonate with audiences and critics alike. Number 6, finally, Wes Craven had great difficulty passing the first Scream past the MPAA, having to submit 8 different cuts of that film and requiring the direct intervention of Dimension Films to get the film its R rating. Now, to avoid this problem with Scream 2, Craven submitted what he called the hyper-violent cut of the movie, chock full of additional gory throwaway scenes, and the intention being so that he could then cut them out and keep the film he wanted to appease the MPAA. But to his surprise, the MPAA approved this hyper-violent cut of the film, basing their decision that the powerful themes and narrative of the story justified the extreme violence. There, the MPAA stating directly that the film was that superior in notion to the first film. Now, ultimately, Scream 2 is a rare example of a sequel not only improving upon the original's premise, but reaching farther and accomplishing more than its predecessor, easily including Scream 2 in the ranks of The Godfather 2, Jaws 2, Terminator 2, and House 2 Second Story. That was an in-joke.
All right, my goodness. Sean, let's hear about Scream number 3.
The Empire Strikes Back was awesome. It was the best movie ever.
It was excellent. It was excellent, yeah.
Nobody thought that was funny? Come on.
Oh, I love The Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
It was hilarious.
I didn't think that was that's not a joke. Empire Strikes Back is a badass.
All right. Maybe if I throw dad jokes out, you'll get it.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not really like into the whole. I'm not as good as the first 2 guys. So
Oh,
I'm not
stop
gonna-
it. You're good enough. You're smart enough. and
God
doggone
darn it.
People
like you.
No, they don't. Anyway, so I think like for me, Scream 3 was really good. I mean, it starts out shitty, kind of like Scream 2 did, but once you get towards that climax, it's like, oh, this is really fucking good, you know. And I mean, you want to talk about soundtracks? Fucking Creed, baby. Come on. Who doesn't like Creed? Oh, J.L. Warren doesn't like Creed. Look at him. Look at his fucking face. Yeah, see? Steer me into the abyss. I think this is Neve Campbell's strongest film. I think, and I hate David Arquette. I hope he fucking dies. But I think he did really good in this movie. Yeah, it's kind of hard to defend the best, worst sequel ever made, but I'm going to try. And, yeah, so I suck at this opening shit. But fucking Carrie Fisher and Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob, fuck y'all. End of story.
There we go. All right, so let me ask this trivia question yet once again. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Here we are. Boom. So who was the actual voice of Ghostface? What was the actor's name? Who knows? Who on the board knows? JL, I know you know.
That would be Roger Jackson.
Roger L. Jackson, that is correct.
Yep.
All right, number 2. What was the original title of Scream? Now, this is for all you live chatters. You get in there and answer these questions. Don't forget, you're playing for prizes. So what was the original title for Scream? All right, that being said, let's get into the Q&A portion. Nope, that's not the one either. Here we go. Okay. We're going to start with this question here. Which film has the best story and why?
I mean, so I guess starting with me.
Yeah, whoever wants to jump on in the water.
Okay, yeah, I'll jump on.
Okay.
I'll jump on. This one has the best story because this is the one that lays the foundation of it. That, yeah, the other films can model after it, but this is the pure creation of it, of the story as a whole. The characters themselves, the characters are fun. They're in 90s style. They're easy to relate to, and it takes so many elements of slashers, and it just takes the best tropes and it just adds to them, because especially with Sidney Prescott having that final girl that can fight back. Because she establishes it very early on that no, she's not going to be the final girl that kind of stumbles through and kind of somehow accidentally lives at the end. No, she fights back. It also establishes the fact that she is always in danger throughout multiple attacks throughout the film. Unlike a lot of times where you'll get maybe the villain will come in the background a little bit here and there, and then you have the big attack at the very end. She is in constant danger. So that's adding all those elements together. That's why the first one has the best story.
All right.
I gotta disagree on that one. Scream 2, well, Scream was strong, yes, and every story needs a foundation. Scream 2 by far, in my personal opinion, Scream 2 by far was the strongest in terms of storytelling, simply because we have Sidney Prescott is coming to her own. So in high school, she's an independent girl. You know, she has past trauma dealing with that. But in 2, we see her as a legitimate final girl, not coming into the role of the final girl. She's already strong. She can defend herself. That's why I think that 2 was her strongest. Her character didn't improve so much in 3 and 4. What we see is how the compounded trauma from the first 2 films is completely stacked onto it. So she becomes more withdrawn and more regressive. But in 2, that was her out of her shell. I think it was the strongest Sidney Prescott ever was of the 4 films that are out right now. Now, tie in the fact that you have a bunch of things that you did not expect. You have the death of Randy, which people did not see coming. You have the death of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So Sarah Michelle Gellar was in there. People anticipated her escaping or at least getting messed up, and they said, no, you kill her. And at the time, this was 1997. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was hot as shit at the time. It already deep in season 2. Everybody loved it. And seeing her die on camera, no one expected that. Then you have what I thought was the most poignant of it was the 2 killers. You have Billy's mom, classic revenge riff, always works in any kind of horror film. A good throwback to Friday the 13th and other things that came before it. But then you had Mickey. And I loved Mickey's excuse, although he never would have gotten away with it. It was very inspired because at the time in the 90s, Jack Thompson, who was a senator out of Florida, was going after violent video games as a reason for violence amongst the youth. And you see it even more hardcore in 1999 and so on and so forth when individuals were, when school shootings began to really pick up. Jack Thompson was there to blame violent video games. He blamed Doom. He blamed Mortal Kombat. He blamed Grand Theft Auto, whatever he could get his hands on. Whereas instead of blaming video games, Mickey was going to blame the movies. And everything he cited, getting Jimmy Cochran to defend him, contacting the ACLU, all these things are things that were brought up in that actual national debate. So there was a legitimate tie-in to real-world events that I thought was very, very poignant. It was satirized, of course, in the film, but it was legitimate. And using all these elements, tying them together as perfectly as Williamson did, easily the best of the 4.
My goodness, jail come firing. He's out the gate. What you got, Sean? Sean says Empire Strikes Back is the best.
Yeah. Fucking A, dude.
It's all like Bob Rule, man. We love this monkey.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, now I get it.
I have to disagree with Jay. I think even though Nev isn't in this movie a lot, I think she's a fucking badass in this movie. What's the one line she says? You want some more asshole or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, she was definitely more aggressive. I like the fact that she was more aggressive and more willing to take the fight to the bad guy. And she was not the notion that she had learned from the first film. She still bore trauma from the first film, but she was willing to. We see her in her strongest. She can stand up. She can fight back, and she's willing to talk shit to even straight to the murderer himself, which I really, really dug.
Mm-hmm. And to go on Eugene's point from before was, I mean, for me, it's kind of like she's more of I guess a clone of Laurie Strode, where you have that moment of where you got the woman where she's strong and she's fighting back. Like that was the original badass bitch, and then I think they just took parts of Laurie Strode and brought her into Prescott, you know. But I think she saves the movie, without a doubt. What I was going to say, I got notes, I'm sorry, I'm kind of like looking. You know, like this movie gets so much fucking shit from fanboys, and I hate it. And, you know, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes says this, but yeah, I mean, look what they did with The Last Jedi. I mean, that's not, you know, I'm going to throw Star Wars into it, I'm sorry. But, so, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes can, like, suck a dick and choke on balls kind of thing. But I think that this is her best movie in the series. I think she's badass. I love the scene where the black dude's running down the stairs and goes, "Oh, you motherfucker!" You know, like that's like to me that's like one of the most memorable scenes in that movie. It was like it's just it wasn't as funny as the other two, but for that moment in that movie, it was like, holy fuck, that was just hilarious. You know, like, and I'm sorry, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm on fucking.
No, that's all right. We get it.
Are you good, brother?
You blew your back out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Doing the best I can, but yeah, I think Neve Campbell saved this movie. I know she's only in like, I guess half of it, but yeah, I mean Parker. I love Parker Posey to begin with, but to have her in this movie was really cool too. You know, freshman bitches. You know. But
I will admit, my lawyer liked that.
yeah. I mean, I thought the interaction between, you know, the Arquettes as they became the big was pretty good. I thought it was pretty well done. I don't like her bangs in this movie. It's a horrible choice, but you know, I mean. Bangs Creed soundtrack. I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's like pissing in a pan. Yeah, see? Eugene gets it. Yeah, he sees it. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go back to the old trivia. So, what was the original title of Scream? We gave you the answer earlier, but what was the original title of the movie Scream? Eugene, what was the original title?
Oh, I can't think of it right now.
You can. You know
I can't.
it. Think about the satire of the satire film.
Talking about Stab?
No.
I can't.
Anybody?
Ministry of Silly Walks.
Scary Movie. Scary Movie was the original title of the Scream franchise. Well, the Scream film.
Oh, okay.
All right. Number 3, trivia question number 3, and this is for all of you live chatters. Make sure you answer these questions and win yourself a prize. What real-life convicted serial killer inspired Ghostface? What real-life convicted serial killer inspired Ghostface? All right.
Am I allowed to answer or not?
No, not yet. Gotta give the live chat chance to answer. All right, so what film had the best twist and why?
I think 3 did.
All right, so what you got?
Okay. So, I mean, you figure out who he is at the end. I mean, that's like, I think for me, like, this was the first Scream film where you don't really kind of, like, see the killer before you see the killer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know it's Scott Foley until the end, right? Until he takes the mask off and you see, oh, it's Scott Foley, which I think was his first film. But you kind of, like, figure out that, like, he's actually writing the Stab 3 thing. You know, and it's kind of like, it's pretty cool how they did that, I think. Mm-hmm. That it's actually the killer writing the movie and he's killing off people that are, I don't know, I just think it's pretty cool.
All right. What do you think? Eugene, what do you think?
Scream 1 has the best because right off the bat, you already have the 2 killers. Which, because that way you can have one of them run upstairs, I'll fight him, and then he gets stabbed. Like, oh, well, obviously, it can't be Sydney's boyfriend, and then, it turns out, spoiler alert, I guess, that it turns out. So, right off the bat coming out with the fact that it is the two killers, which helps explain a lot of other things, like how can a killer disappear? How can a killer be in two places at one time? Both of them coming out. And I like how in this movie you have Jamie Kennedy actually calls out when he's in the movie store. He actually calls out and like, oh, you know what? It could be that guy. And I like how Wes Craven throws it in there because Jamie Kennedy's character, though he's very knowledgeable in horror films, he also can come across as a little bit of the paranoid one, a little bit of the crazy one. So it takes the audience and kind of throws it out. Oh, well, surely he can't be right. This movie's all about who done it. And then why would the writer just point right off the bat, to who it could be, kind of thing? So clearly it can't be that person. And then it flips around, and I like how it brings up, where it talks about Sidney Prescott's mom dying like a year beforehand, and then how that plays into it, because that's really easy for it to be kind of a throwaway, kind of a, oh, well, this is why she's just like this, and they never evolve into it. But the fact that it comes back at the very end, and it comes off that, no, we killed her because she's not like a Sharon Stone kind of thing. And so
nice reference. That was good.
That was good.
so it plays well into it. It does. It has the best twist.
All right, JL, what do you think?
To be perfectly honest, it's. I'm actually going to step out, and I'm going to say that Scream 3 actually had the best twist for me, but not for the reason that you think. Because as far as just twist, if you take the film by itself, the best twist I think was actually in Scream 2, and bringing in Billy's mother. I knew Mickey was fucked up from pretty much the get-go, just the way he responded in certain ways. It was kind of like in Scream 1, the blockbuster scene is what gave away Stu and Billy as the killers of the first one. I immediately knew it was them because it was just the way Billy was acting, and I was like, that fucker's guilty as shit. And then the way Stu was responding, I was like, yeah, he's dirty. In the second one, I actually didn't see Billy's mother coming because they did nothing to hint that it would be her. And that what took me by surprise. I knew Mickey was fucked up. I was thinking, who could the second one be? Maybe it is Derek. And then all of a sudden, she comes out, and it's like, and everybody's like, "Who the fuck are you?" It's like, and the only person who knew who it was Sydney, which was great because it was personal for her, and that was a good twist. But now looking back, hindsight, I actually think it's Scream 3, and that was because of the brother, because of the half brother, because of Scott Foley's character. When it was revealed that he was his half brother, when it was Sydney's half brother, I went back and watched Scream and Scream 2, there were things that happened. Well, actually, it was the first Scream. There were things that happened in Scream that didn't make sense. Like, for example, when the girls are in the shopping mart and they're getting supplies for the party, and all of a sudden, Ghostface was in the reflection of the beer cooler door. If you remember that, like Ghostface would show up like running around out in the world. It was like, how was this? It was like, and then all of a sudden they're talking on the porch, and then they go inside, and he was standing in the bushes the whole time listening to them. The problem is that if you go back and watch the movie, you know where Stu and Billy are at the times that these happen. And who would be the only knowledgeable third one to be involved in this was her brother, because he went to Woodsboro and started up the whole thing by delivering the footage of the affair to Billy. And that's how he kicked the whole thing off. He inspired, the events of the first film, so it all comes full circle. And that's what got me was, holy shit, that's a sweet twist, because it explains little things that occurred in the first film that didn't make sense continuity-wise.
Ties up some loose ends.
Yes, that was like, well, wait. So, because originally you watch it like, oh, they're just doing that for effect. Ghostface is everywhere. But no, it wasn't. Literally, that could have been Billy, that could have been Stu, that could have been her half-brother, running around the town making this happen. So that's why the twist in 3 was pretty impressive. Once it all came full circle, it was really, really smart writing. And I was like, oh, holy shit, and all this new information came up. So I got to give it to that.
All right.
Damn, I wish I could have said it like that.
JL's got you.
JL's doing you a favor.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Scream franchise, Scream was definitely known for its satire. It's kind of witty play on the whole horror genre, or the slasher genre specifically. So what film had the best satire and why? Before you answer that, let's get back to the old trivias. All right, so what real-life convicted serial killer inspired Ghostface? Who knows?
You asking us?
Yeah, of course.
That was the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah, Daniel Rawlings.
Danny Rawling, that's right. Very good. All right, so again, live chat, get in on this. If you answer these questions correctly, whoever has the most correct answers is going to win a prize, going to win the Scream poster. All right. Knowing that this film has a lot of calls, a lot of callbacks to different franchises, what other famous horror franchise does Scream reference the most? What other famous horror franchise does Scream reference the most? Put your answers in the live chat. Now let's get back to the debate. Which film had the best satire and why?
Not three.
Satire.
Not even gonna try.
I'm actually looking at it. I'm actually inclined to give it to 4 because 4 played on the new mentality, because it was a new decade, and it played on the tropes of social media and how social media is so ingrained in all of our lives, and it was ingrained in all the lives of all the characters themselves. So the satirization of, you're in a horror film, or you imagine that these kids are in the situation and there's a killer, or maybe 2 killers. People are dying, bodies are dropping, but everybody's so ingrained in their social media style, or basically, cultivating their online presence or their online persona, that it twists how they respond to this traumatic situation. And it was taken to extreme. I mean, the bad guy in it, in Scream 4, was her niece, who wanted to be internet famous, and was tired of Sydney overshadowing her. The idea of that is so ridiculous, but because of today's social media presence, you could see that happening. I was like, yeah, I could actually understand that with some of these crazy people that are on social media. I could see that. It's like, oh, God, I hate this famous family member of mine because of all this trauma she went through. I can't be famous online because it's always about Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, well, 10 years ago, that would have been retarded. But I think that's why it was a nice take on that one. I have to give it to 4 for the best satire throughout the entire film. Not the best of the series, but its satire was really good because it really made fun of and poked fun of kind of society in general today.
I would have to go with 1, and it's because it throws everything out there, and then the characters actually do it. Because you have Sidney Prescott talking about, oh, I don't like horror films because they always run up the stairs instead of out the front door. And then when she's attacked, what does she do? She runs up the stairs. And you're kind of like, oh, okay. The scene where you have Jamie Kennedy's on the couch and he's sitting there watching the horror film and he's like, turn around, while you have Ghostface standing over him with a knife, and you're just like, and even the satire on where he talks about with Drew Barrymore in the very beginning, where it's like, well, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? Well, if no one's ever seen any of them, who would your guess actually be? It's going to be Jason. Mm. If you just heard of the series, it's going to be Jason, and then it's like, no, you're wrong. So you have all these little nuggets and all these little things that sprinkle throughout the film that satires kind of itself. People don't do that in horror movies. They know people don't do it in horror movies, yet they do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, N.A. Good to see you. Good to have you. All right. Let's see here. Back to this here trivia.
Hey, Craft Tequila, too.
Yeah, Craft Tequila. She was, there she is. Craft Tequila, that would be a well-informed guess, but not entirely accurate. So what other famous horror franchise does Scream reference the most? And it's not one that people would think of automatically, but Sean should know this one. No? Bueller?
I would say Halloween or Evil Dead.
Halloween. Yep, Halloween. One of the characters, what is it? Is it Stu Loomis? Whose last name is Loomis in this one?
Billy Loomis.
Billy Loomis. That's right. So
Billy Loomis and Stu Macher.
Stu Macher, right. So the character names, you have character names that are referenced in there, and even the fact that, like we pointed out earlier, with Sydney kind of having those same type of characteristics as Jamie Lee Curtis did in Halloween. So Wes Craven made sure to put that in there because he says that he was often mistook for, or they were interchangeable, he and John Carpenter. Some people thought John Carpenter was Wes Craven and so on, and vice versa. All right, let's see here. So we talked about Stab a minute ago. So who directed the movie within the movie Stab? Who directed the movie within the movie Stab? All right. Let's see here. Now, here we get into the fun ones. So what was the best kill in your film and why? Let's start with Eugene.
There are a couple of good kills. Rose McGowan's kill was really good. It's unique, creative with a garage door on it. But I got to go with Drew Barrymore because Drew Barrymore's death sets the tone of the entire franchise. And it's tragic to begin with because she starts off at home, normal, and then she sees her boyfriend get gutted in a gruesome way. And as she's running out, she sees her parents. It's always tragic when help is right around the corner and she gets stabbed and she screams out, but because she got stabbed, she can't scream.
He crushed her.
He crushed her trachea.
Yeah.
So she can't scream, and her parents just walk inside, and it's so tragic and heartfelt out at that moment. And then once her body's strung up, so you get a little bit of gruesome factor, you get a little bit of tragic factor, and it's Drew Barrymore.
Okay. The funny thing, speaking about the Rose McGowan death, is they had to like rig it up because every time they try to put her through there, she's so small that whenever they would lift the door, she would fall out. So they couldn't keep her in there to fake the kill, so they had to like rig it up. Like they had to hook her clothes onto part of the door to keep her in there.
She was such a babe. Oh God.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what she's probably a hot mess now, but what she was a fucking killer back. She had that like goth girl. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, she looked her absolute best on Charmed.
Probably,
yeah.
Right, JL.
Oh, best kill in Scream 2 would have to be the sorority kill. That one was, and the reason it's kind of a personal opinion because number one, I'm a tremendous Buffy fan. I was a huge Buffy fan at the time. The fact that Sarah Michelle Gellar was in this film was one of the drawing points. Is the reason I went to go see it. But it was the notion that even an actress who plays a character as strong as that and one as popular, and while she does get to fight back a bit, she gets off so viciously. And also the lead up to it, how the killer's been in the house the entire time. He's fucking with her over the phone, and then all of a sudden you have the big chase, and you have the chase up the stairs, which is the big trope that Eugene was mentioning. She runs up the stairs, she's throwing the bike at him, she's throwing shit at him, she's knocking him around, and she finally gets up and she's about to get out when he runs up on her and just stabs her twice and hucks her off the balcony. Just there was no frills about it, no long exposition, just boom, boom, and dead. And it was like, it was an iconic actress behind an iconic character that just got throwaway killed.
Yep.
Which I think solidified the movie for me that I was not going to expect what happened next, and they kind of leads into Randy getting killed because no one saw that coming. So, but with the death of her,
why you gotta kill Jamie Kennedy? Never mind.
Although
asked and answered.
he talks some mad shit. That was a great scene. Just him on the phone. But yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar's death, Cece's death in the sorority house when she's alone, that was just fucking brutal. And just a victim by circumstance, just because her name or her nickname was the same as a previous deal, because they were recreating the Woodsboro murders. it's absolutely tragic. And it was the most intense of the movie.
All right, Sean, what you got? Best kill in Scream 3.
I think my favorite out of that whole movie was, and I'm doing this from memory. I didn't get a chance to watch it this week again because I've been working my ass off.
Well, it's still there.
Yeah, well, barely. I'm Irish. I have no ass. It was the scene leading up to one of my favorite parts of the movie when the dude runs down the steps and goes, "Oh, you motherfucker!" It was when the chick was hiding in the wall, right?
Oh, behind the mirror.
Yeah. And then she sees Courtney and Parker, and she's like, "Well, fuck you guys. I'm gonna go this way." You know, just the whole celebrity thing, that C-list celebrity bullshit, which I thought was comical. But my favorite part about that kill wasn't that he killed her. It was the part when they're peering over the staircase, and you see her getting dragged. Like that was.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like that was my favorite part of that exchange of being murdered. Because you see her get stabbed, and she's like, oh, whatever it is, and then they're peering over, and then all you see is her fucking motionless body. It's like, like JL did about 20 minutes ago when you disappeared off the. Yeah. So that was, I think that was my favorite kill of that whole movie. Just because of that. I hated the scream part when Courtney and Parker screamed. To me.
Oh yeah, that scream was terrible.
Yeah, it was totally unnecessary, but prior to that, it was really good.
Jenny McCarthy getting smoked was pretty good.
Yeah, and I hate Jenny. I think she's
and Patrick Warburton getting smoked because we all saw that coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the bodyguard
talking shit on the phone. The bodyguard's like, yeah, with that Patrick Warburton voice. Yeah, you're full of shit. And then ends up getting in. Then when I was like, yeah, I saw that coming. That was good.
Yeah.
That's funny you should mention Jenny McCarthy, because she was obviously aesthetically, whatever, put together, probably cost a lot of money, but something about her was just you're kind of fucking annoying. I just don't like you. She just didn't have if she could have just took pictures and not went into movies, I don't know, that probably would have been better. Cause I didn't like anything she did, touch a movie. I'd be like, that's some bullshit. Post what's it called, American Pie bullshit, fucking just garbage.
Yeah.
Just use her picture instead, just cut to her. So I was holding a picture. Yeah, that was it. And just recite lines.
Just do a cardboard cutout with fucking the lips cut out, and it'd be like J.L. Ward being with his mustache poking out. Oh my God! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!
Oh
no! That would have been fucking better.
Keith has gone off the deep end.
All right, so who knows what real life director directed the movie within the movie Stab? Anybody? I've stumped all the three of the Schwabs. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know that one.
So the movie within the movie Stab. JL, I know you know this one.
It's tucked in there somewhere.
Yeah.
In the beard?
Somewhere.
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
Oh, okay, yes, that would make sense because Miramax.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, this is an easy one for the chat. This is an easy one. You have a 50-50 chance of getting this correct. True or false? Scream 4 was Wes Craven's last film. True or false? Scream 4 was Wes Craven's last film.
Adam West.
Adam West. All right. Yeah. Let's see here. Who was the best killer in your film? Killer or killers in your film?
What do you mean? In our film or the franchise?
Well, in each of your film. You got to defend. You're defending your film. You were in the production meeting. You know what we're doing.
Well, yeah.
Who's the best killer? I mean, I
killer
in
or
my
killers?
Film, I have to go with Matthew Litter. Just first of all, he's just funny to watch. I mean, just saying, and that whole line of just where he's like, "I'm starting to get woozy, man."
Yeah. You hit me with a phone, dick.
The funniest thing about that is he ad-libbed most of his lines. Most of those lines he ad-libbed them. Like, my mom's really going to be mad at me.
Don't worry, be right back.
Hey, it worked because I could barely tell anything about the other killer.
Right. Okay, so Matthew Lillard, that's actually pretty strong. What do you got there, JL?
Up to 2. I'm actually in Scream 2. I'm actually going to give it to Timothy Olyphant because I am a huge Timothy Olyphant fan. Justified. Santa Clarita Diet. I fucking love Timothy Olyphant and everything he does, and his level of movie knowledge and he's the because I think I identified with him. I'm the kind of guy who will see what's going on and be like, Top Gun, 1986, and just decide to, because he's not extreme like Randy, because he's more reserved. But when he goes manic about what he's really, I'm kind of the same way. So I identified more with Mickey. I thought he was fun, and the whole sequence when he and Sydney are having their back and forth, and she's talking shit and he's talking shit, and kind of narrating what's happening. He delivered that awesomely. So I think Mickey was the better, even though he went out like a bitch. Boom, shut the fuck up. It was like, oh damn. So, but I think Mickey was the better of the two.
All right, and we've got Scream number 3. What do you got? Scream 3.
I mean, it's got to be Scott Foley, you know.
All right, fuck that.
I mean that's basically, you know. I mean, listen, you can't compete with Lillard. I mean, Matthew Lillard was fucking.
That's really tough. Yeah, I mean,
Lillard was a beat.
I'm not a huge Lillard fan, but his performance in that it really made the film.
I mean, he was good in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember Wing Commander.
Oh yeah. I saw that in theaters.
Actually,
so did I.
I actually really liked him in 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 13 Ghosts is a really underrated movie too.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Shannon Elizabeth.
It's kind of a shitty movie.
It was not.
It was good.
It was shitty. Tony Shalhoub phoned that
Tony
performance
Shalhoub,
in.
Shannon Elizabeth, Matthew Lillard.
Well, what's wrong with Tony Shalhoub? What's wrong with Monk?
Nothing's wrong with Monk. You could just tell he phoned that whole performance in. It was terrible. Anyway.
I mean, he was amazing in Wings. Anybody remember Wings?
I remember Wings. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Even in 1408, he had that small fucking role. He sold that shit, and he was in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, again, I like Tony Shalhoub. I think he's an amazing actor. I just think that because he's such an amazing actor, his performance in 13 Ghosts was terrible.
My favorite thing in Wings was when he was like, "My hair is receding and my gums are receding. I'm dying."
I like when he learned that one song.
Yeah.
Road is boat ashore. And he kept singing it over and over again. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off topic. All right. So, true or false? Scream 4 was Wes Craven's last film. Who wants to answer that one?
False.
I'm gonna go false.
JL?
Actually, I think it is false. Yeah, I think that is false.
It's true. Scream 4 was Wes Craven's last film.
Is it his last one?
That was the last one? Because he died like 4 years later.
He did.
No, I think he's doing something else.
No,
he did not direct another film after Scream 4. That was his last
Okay, you didn't say that.
Okay. I thought last film he was in.
That's right.
For
You said last
sake.
film.
Don't.
Let me ask you a question. Hang on. Wait, you guys stop. Let me ask you a question.
My soul to take.
Let me ask you a question. Whenever they say this is a so-and-so's film, is it the writer's film they're talking about in the credits? Thank you very much. Shut the fuck up. It's implied in the question.
My soul to take was the last time he
could be ambiguous.
Yeah, that's what I thought. His last film that he did anything that he made happen was The Girl in the Photographs.
Again, what's the last film he directed, which is generally considered...
You didn't say which one he directed.
It's implied in the question.
Oh, you
No.
cannot put together a panel of
word.
You can't put together a panel of horror nerds and then give them something vague like that to run off.
See,
Christ.
because
very
above,
vague.
hang on a
There's
second,
three?
hang on a
Okay.
second,
Very
hang
broad,
on a second,
very vague.
because above horror nerds, you're also film buffs. We're all filmmakers in here, and we know that when we talk about a so-and-so's film, that we're talking about the director, specifically. You know this. I'm holding you to higher standards, JL.
Fine. I'll give you that one.
No,
I'll give you
no.
barely.
No, fuck that. No, fuck him. No, fuck
All
that
right,
shit.
number 7.
Sean, yeah, agree.
My soul to take with fucking La Bunka, right? La Bunka. My soul to take. It was like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, My Soul to Take was 2010.
Yeah,
2010. Okay.
Yeah, right before it.
Yeah, he directed that, but he produced, and then he also directed Scream 4, but he produced the girl in the photographs in 2015.
Right.
So he was a producer.
Remember-
that was
He was. He's a producer, director, and writer.
Remember the
Oh, okay.
conversation? Remember the conversation we had about producers?
No.
I rest my case. Number 7. What was Casey Becker making in the kitchen when she spoke with Ghostface? What was Casey Becker making in the kitchen while she spoke with Ghostface? Answer in the chat. Let me know what you got. That's another easy one. All right, here we go.
That is the easy one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Who?
Because, and I'll give it. It's not. I'm not going to give it away. Their stock went up
Oh yes.
after that movie came out.
Yes, it did.
Why
Big
don't I
time.
remember this?
You should. Who was the? No, we already did that one. We already did the best killer. NANA. Yes, you are correct. It is popcorn. Let's see here. What is the funniest moment in your film?
Oh.
Yikes.
For bonus points, NANA, can you tell me the brand?
Orville?
You're not NANA.
Oh, sorry.
You're also incorrect.
Let's see, the Jiffy Pop or Pop Secret?
God damn it! What a part of this is not your question to answer? Did you not understand?
Well, that's the Polish part of me. 90% Irish, but I got 10% Polish.
Ah, I got you. All right, so
Yeah.
funniest moment in your film, Sean. What you got in Scream 3?
The whole movie?
Stop it.
The Jay and Silent Bob scene was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know,
Oh shit, it's Gale Weathers.
Yeah, that's probably the funny. I think the like, I mean, I hate to be like political and all that, but like, put it correct, but like the best part of that movie for me, and it's not a funny moment, but it's when Carrie Fisher's talking about Hollywood. And then decades later, you find out Me Too happens, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
she was on about it. You know what I mean? You know, like,
I consider that a part of many parts of all the inside jokes that took place. Obviously, because it was the worst kept secret in Hollywood. All that bullshit going on, and that was.
It wasn't even a kept secret. I mean,
exactly.
really,
But think about that, because it was Dimension that produced Dimension that made this movie.
Yep.
Okay. And Dimension is a subsidiary of Miramax.
Miramax, yep.
And the motherfucker himself was in charge of Miramax. So the joke was about him. He produced a movie that had jokes in it about the shit he was doing.
That's because he thought he was untouchable.
Yeah. So I guess for me, that's like, I mean, it's a serious moment, but like, it's kind of funny looking back on it.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
You know what I mean?
It's pretty good.
Yep.
So I guess that's my funniest moment.
All right, JL, what you got?
Funniest moment in Scream 2. Because it was darker than the first film.
Yes, it was.
But I think the funniest moment, the one that got the biggest laugh out of me, was Jamie Kennedy's line. Was Jamie Kennedy's line when he's on the phone with the killer, and obviously we know from the film that he was on the phone with the mom, with Billy's mom, but he's talking shit back and forth with Ghostface, and Ghostface asks him what his favorite scary movie was, and he said Showgirls. Absolutely frightening. And that shit almost knocked me out of my seat because we all know. So I think that moment right there, because it was so effortlessly delivered. It was like I can't believe that the guy who's seen every horror movie alive and Showgirls is the one that fucking scared him. I believe that shit.
Yep.
I mean, the scene with the period was kind of scary. You know?
This is true. That whole film was scary. It killed what's her name's
It
career.
killed her career, yeah, definitely. Saved by the Bell is gone.
Yep. Eugene, what you got?
So the funniest moment for me, and it's not intentionally a funny moment, but like the Wayans brother had to watch this one moment and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do scary movie," and it's when Rose McGowan is fighting Ghostface in the garage. Because it is so ridiculous, over the top. She flips him over the shoulder. She throws like drinks and stuff at him. He's like slipping and sliding like all over the place. And I think I know it was like a serious moment and everything, but I broke out laughing. And then because shortly afterwards I watched Scary Movie, and I was like, they had to model this after it. They just had to. So
then when he's going up the stairs, she pushes the fucking piano after him, and he's
exactly.
But that should fuck me up, because he's in the garage and they're having he cuts her arm, but then she does the flip thing and then she grabs the beer bottle. This dude took a beer bottle to the face and it broke, and then a beer bottle to the groin.
I don't know.
And it broke. And I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know if any of you have ever.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have ever hit
dick.
with a beer bottle. They don't break like they do in the
They
fucking
don't
movie.
break.
No.
Okay.
They don't break at all.
Jump with a beer bottle and it explodes.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
And
Movie
sometimes
over.
it doesn't break. It's like getting hit with a rock.
Yeah.
Let's see who you really are. Oh, I'm all fucked up.
Yeah.
Can we take 5? Just stand by the garage door real quick. Just let me give me a second.
Yeah.
I will have to say that scene was probably Skeet Ulrich and not Lillard.
You think that was Billy who was in the garage?
Yeah, 'cause he was a bitch.
I don't know. He did take 2 fucking glass bottles to the skull. Well, one to the skull,
Well-
one to the dick. So
Well, I
Broke it on his dick.
meant that in a way because
Didn't she also
he
hit him with the? No, did she hit him with the fridge door?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
With like
so.
the freezer door?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually the first thing. So she flipped. He got back up and hit her and then she hit him with the freezer door.
Yeah. But I was saying that because Skeet has no balls. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So Jiffy Pop was the correct answer. Popcorn Jiffy Pop. So NAN
Yeah,
and
got it.
Crafty both got that one. Let's see here. Number 8. Who was the only victim in Scream that wasn't killed with a knife? And if you've been paying attention, we just gave you the answer. But who was the only victim in Scream that wasn't killed with a knife?
Which
All
is my favorite death scene, by the way.
It is. It's a good one.
Yeah.
What is the scariest moment in your film? And while you're answering that, please continue. I must go pay the water bill. Be right back.
I'm gonna do that too. Son of a bitch, you beat me to it. Not that I have anything fucking to say here.
The scariest moment.
Besides, actually, having a fun time watching you guys. Continue.
The scariest moments in each of our films. Scream 2, the most tense moment was when Hallie and Sydney are in the back of the cop car. And Ghostface gets in, kills the cops, and like that, and then he ends up crashing it, and they're stuck. So they're trapped in the cop car with Ghostface is knocked unconscious, and we know it was Mickey. Mickey was the one who was driving, and so then they have to climb through the gate, the fencing in the back of the cop car, the partition. So they have to climb through the partition into the passenger seat, and then over Ghostface's body to get out of the car. And I knew we know Nev is going to make it. Nev is going to get out. But the whole time I was like, that poor girl. Number one, she's the best friend, who always gets smoked. Number 2, she's black. She's definitely going to fucking die. And in this particular moment, the tension and how long the scene lasted, and then the fact that she actually does get out. They get out. They escape. And then she winds up getting smoked anyway. That fucked me up. But that whole climbing over Ghostface to get out, that was really, really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great. That scene actually has probably my favorite kill, the pipe through the
pipe through the skull.
Yeah, that was such. And he's like twitching and stuff. That's so
He's
cool.
on the hood.
Oh,
He's
yeah, I
like
love it.
boom, and yeah, he's got the gun. He's like.
I love those gruesome scenes to the head where you actually ask yourself as a viewer if like they're still conscious for a second and they're like they kind of feel it for a second before they're totally dead. Those kind of really gory scenes. I love that shit. Anyway,
Paris Hilton, House of Wax.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
All right, sorry. I am back. Did we stop already? I missed the entire panel's discussion on that one.
No, I just had
No,
mine.
just-
No.
Oh, good. I was
No.
going to say, Lordy.
No, I would probably have to go. Probably the most tense is it's a Drew Barrymore scene, but it's with her boyfriend out in the back, because it starts off she's just doing her now that we already said it, making popcorn, and she thinks it's a couple wrong numbers, which at that day and age was a common thing, and it's kind of the prank calling is just whatever, and that was a tonal shift of it, and then that was when it's like it got serious, and then when she answered the question wrong, and it was like, okay, now because she sat there and she guessed Jason, and people who were horror fans already knew she was wrong, so it was like oh shit, this is. And then the fact of how graphic it was, because it's like the lights off, comes, and it's just his guts are just hanging out, and then all of a sudden crashes through the house. It's just super intense through that whole sequence. So to me, that was like the scariest moment, because it catches you out of nowhere, and then it's just an exclamation. And it's Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. She was supposed to originally play the Neve Campbell character, but because of her schedule, she had to take a smaller role.
Yeah, she nailed it though.
Yeah, she did. She was really good at it. Sean.
She was shooting Playboy, I think.
That was one of the things she was doing.
Yeah. Christine, I think.
Yeah.
The cotton scenario. You know what I mean?
Oh, when he was using the voice modulator to sound like cotton, and
Yeah, that was kind of freaky. I think that's probably the only really. I mean, other than the girl getting dragged away at the bottom of the steps, I think that was like really the only really good kill in that movie. Yeah. Like those two deaths for me, it was like some of the ones that stand out.
Oh, not the backflip where he pulls the rug.
I mean, that was kind of like a scene from Airplane, like, excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive, no, I mean,
Cut me some slack, Jack.
You mean it wasn't when Ghostface, who is expertly killing everybody, and then hums the knife directly at Dewey and it hits him with the fucking handle?
Yeah.
Plot armor.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Dewey's got to be like one of the worst fucking characters ever made.
I actually like David Arquette because I liked him in the role because I like seeing him subdued.
Yep.
When David Arquette is manic, he's annoying as fuck. He is Pauly Shore annoying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When he brings it down and he just plays straight, he actually I really enjoy watching him work. Just like Matthew Lillard, sometimes Matthew Lillard's a little too much, and it's kind of like, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
But when he sits down and he has when he's like calm and he just has a moment, I really enjoy watching him work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who is the only victim in Scream that wasn't killed with a knife? Who knows this one?
I do.
What is it? Who is it?
Yeah, Rose McGowan. She killed with a garage door.
Yep. Cat door.
Yeah.
There it is. We spoke about it right before. Let's see here. Okay.
What about the cop in 2 whose head was impaled?
That's why I said Scream, not Scream.
Oh,
2.
Yeah, he only said the first one.
Yeah.
Guys here in JL, pay attention.
Fuck. This is twice, JL. All right.
I'd like to
Number
propose
9.
something.
What's that?
I'd like to propose something.
Oh, yes, I'll marry you.
I'm surprised JL didn't get that.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the live chat. Sorry, my bad.
No, propose, proposition. Yeah. The whole.
Ah,
Yeah.
Number 9. What is the name of the character that Wes Craven plays? This is a tough one. What is the name of the character Wes Craven plays? All right. That was all the questions that I had. So I think we have a question from the chat. What do you think about the MTV series? That's from Pyro Boy 209.
oh, I got some opinions on that.
All right, JL, what you got?
The story was actually decent, but because the series could not get the rights to actually use the Ghostface costume, it detracted. So, 1 and 2 were not that great. It felt like a shoddy ripoff. However, the 3rd season, when they finally got the rights back to utilize the Ghostface character and bring that in, and not to mention that in the 3rd season, we got to have a Ghostface versus Candyman show up because Tony Todd was in season 3, and we got to see, and his character was a Vietnam vet, and he had a hook for a hand. So it was like, that's free. And we get to have a face-off between Tony Todd and Ghostface. That was good, but I didn't realize how iconic or how necessary the costume, the Ghostface costume was to the series, because I was like, oh, this is just like a mockbuster. Is what these series. It wasn't really there. Yeah, but you had the storyline elements, you had all the twists and turns, and it was really cool that it was episodic. But not having Ghostface was just weak. When they brought it back for the third one. The third one was the best out of all.
Anybody else? I haven't seen it. I guess I just missed the boat on it.
No, it's agreed, because it's like doing, like, say, a Nightmare on Elm Street without Freddy Krueger. And they get close and kind of see kind of imitation wise, but Ghostface is already an iconic character, and he's on the level of Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger, all those iconic horror villains. So I don't know why they didn't do the series until they got the rights first. That way you can just do it correct.
I'm shocked and amazed. I'm kind of looking at the live chat, and Craft Tequila got that question correct. And that was a tough one. If you're not paying attention, you don't know that Wes Craven's even in the film. But if you are paying attention, you see him. He has a couple of quick lines, and he's in that awesome hat and striped shirt, or striped sweater.
Yep.
So, yeah. You are correct, Craft Tequila. He plays Fred the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and actually,
wow.
Crafty Tequila didn't Stu have a TV dropped on him?
Yeah.
This is true. So Stu did have a TV dropped on him, but was he killed with the TV drop? When he already stabbed
That's
him?
questionable.
He was stabbed.
Well, Bill stabbed him a few times, but it wasn't. But it wasn't the stabbing that killed him. It was because Rose McGowan was also technically slashed with a knife, but it was the garage door that killed her.
See, I didn't know if it counted because Matthew Lillard being a killer. I thought he was just talking about his victims.
Okay.
Yeah.
Specifics, Johnny.
We are getting specifics.
He's very vague, isn't he, Gail?
He's setting us up.
Strike
Very vague. Very broad, very vague.
That's true. Yes. All right. Let's see. Number 9. If you've been paying attention, if you listened to JL at the very beginning, you'll know this one. Or if you're just, brilliant. Who wrote Scream? Who wrote Scream? The actual screenplay. Okay, is that specific enough for you, JL?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, so I'm done with questions on my end. So let's just kind of, back and forth a little bit.
Little tidbit that people might not know is how they found the Ghostface mask. And because when they were in pre-production, they were running about, and they were actually went through a whole host of masks for the killer, and it was like, and Wes Craven just he's like, no, it's not going to work. That doesn't look right. No, that looks stupid. And they were weeks away from principal photography, and so they still didn't have a mask for their killer.
So to put that into perspective for people who don't know, weeks is like hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're talking about principal photography, weeks would probably equate to hours.
And so
Tequila,
they
yes,
were.
you are correct. Craft Tequila, are you Googling these?
Don't Google. Don't be a dick.
I say use every tool at your disposal.
Adapt and overcome.
I think
That's
we were
right.
talking about this yesterday. He's like, we must survive.
So they're weeks out from principal photography. They still don't have a costume for their killer. We have no idea what the killer is going to look like.
Right.
The killer is, I think, if I remember correctly, Kevin Williamson said in an interview that it wasn't even called Ghostface yet. So they just knew that they were going to have a masked killer. They just didn't know what the fuck he was going to be. So they were doing last.
Was he even named? Was he even named at the time?
It was just the killer.
Yeah.
And so they were going through and they were doing last minute checks for locations and looking just basically doing and they were in the area and they were going through residential houses for people who had signed to potentially have the film shoot in their home. And they were doing a last minute check to make sure they were going to shoot in this one particular house. And while they were doing the location site, basically it's where they go in and they just walk around and they look and they check sight lines and they say angles, we can shoot here or this won't work at all. And they happen to be passing by the little boy's bedroom who lived in that house, and he had that mask sitting on the floor of his bedroom. And then the production, one of the guys was there was like, oh wait a minute, what about this mask? And there it was. And at the time, it was like a $5 mask it was not mass produced because it wasn't popular. So nobody wore it. So it was this cheap ass mask you could get at like Dollar Tree.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it took off.
Now it's the number one Halloween costume sold year after year. The number one.
I'm really into business and like sales and commodity buying. I bet what they did is find out who the fuck made that mask, bought up the copyrights, mass produced it, and fucking just boom, made a shitload of money.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone probably sold the rights to that. Like, oh sure, yeah, you can buy it for $2,000. Yeah, why not?
Yep.
We just made multi-millions off of that.
I have an Easter egg.
Okay, yeah, what you got?
Okay, so Scream 3 was filmed the same house as JL knows this. I know he does.
Scream, you mean
the house in Scream 3?
The one that was used on the set in the Hollywood production?
It was also used in H2O.
Yep.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
That I did not know. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, because I'm not. I don't know as much as you guys about the whole subject. So they didn't do much on the Hollywood studio. They actually like went out and sourced out like just the perfect location, like a existing house and everything to get this thing done. Like, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So basically, like we actually had a producer.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, like when I lived in New York, I lived in Queens, and we had a knock on the door one day, and it was a producer from The Good Wife, with Julian Margulies.
Cool.
And they were looking for a house to film a scene in, and they walk around our house, and they're like, "Oh, we like your house." You know, we had a Tudor house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, like JL said, they'll kind of like walk around your house. They kind of look at everything and say, you know, what you change the color of the walls. You know, would you accept this or would you accept that? And they kind of like look around. They scout your house. So we almost had our house used in The Good Wife.
It's really cool.
But
Yeah.
But then
So they'll actually like. Yeah, the ugly Irish guy with the small dick. No, but seriously, yeah, they'll knock on your door and be like, hey, you know, I'm so and so, and they'll hand you the card and be like, you know, can I look around your house? Because what they see is curb appeal. You know what I mean? Like a real estate agent would, and they go from there and they see what the inside kind of like. I mean, you have to think about like Halloween, the original, you know. Going around California.
My wife Angela had the same thing happen because she grew up in Ponca City, Oklahoma, middle of nowhere. And one day it was a neighbor of hers who had they knocked on her door, and they were filming Twister.
Oh, that's
at
cool.
the time. So yeah, and
That's really
so
cool.
one of the houses that they used in that was utilized in that film. So
It's kind
Very
of funny
cool.
because my father delivered mail after he retired from the military. He delivered mail for so many years. But so you guys know Walker, Texas Ranger, the TV show.
Yeah.
That scene
Chuck Norris,
where,
baby.
yeah, Chuck Norris. That scene where, like in the opening, where you see the water tower and all that stuff. That's really close to where I'm at right now. But he was delivering mail, and they stopped him. Like the producer stopped him and said, "Hey, can we blow up your mail truck for this film?" I was like, "What? Why would you ask me that? This is federal fucking property. No, you can't blow this up, you dumb shit."
Hey Johnny,
What's
just
up?
being like a lifetime DFW guy, specifically Tarrant. It was really fun when Texas Ranger was like filming, because you never knew, like, they were all over the place. They could be in Sunday Square,
Yep.
they could be in like a neighborhood, they could be out in the country in the pasture, they could be like in near River Oaks, and you're just like, this is crazy. And Chuck Norris is everywhere, man.
it was
Oh,
was
yeah.
cool when they dropped names that you knew.
Yep.
When it was like, oh, they're over off Beltline. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, really? It's right over there. But I think the absolute funniest, and it was only because I think I was 19, and one episode they were tracking some drug guy, and it was like, and they tracked him to this lounge. They tracked him to this like club called the Lizard Lounge.
Yep.
That was fun.
And I was like, the Lizard Lounge. I party there on Saturday on the church nights on Sundays, and it was like, holy shit! But when they went to the Lizard Lounge, the production company had gone in and they turned it into like the most cheap ass budgeted strip club you have ever
Yeah.
seen
Oh,
in your
dude.
life.
I can
I
see
was
that.
like, that is not what that club is at all.
So my brother, if the Lizard Lounge was, it's still Swiss and Good Ladder, 2020. Swiss and Good
Yeah,
Ladder.
it closed down though.
Yep.
Closed permanently.
For many, like, man, it had like a 30-year run, 20-year run. It
Yeah,
was like
over
the
30,
craziest
yeah.
place to party.
Yep.
They would have everything from like industrial nights to raves to like
Anything.
the
Girls-
drag parties.
Girls
It
Gone
was
Wild film. Girls Gone Wild filmed out there.
Often.
It was like the anything goes.
Yeah.
place.
Oh yeah.
Well, all right, man. This has been some fun times. So, who won the debate? I did. You know why I won the debate? Because I got to sit around with my friends and have a good time and a good conversation. That's why I won. Well, fuck all you two.
Here you go. That's for you, Johnny.
There you go.
Aw,
Yeah.
That's for you.
aw, you guys are so nice. You sound
See, that's more like it. I don't know if I can say that right there.
Michael Raptor, you are correct. Craft Tequila won, actually. Craft Tequila is one who won the debate. She surprisingly got some of these. I don't know why I said surprisingly, but some of these questions were tough. But she got them, so yeah, Craft Tequila is the wiener. I'm going to send you your awesome prize just as soon as you send me your mailing address. I'll get that shipped out to you. Now it's going to get stuck in customs because it's coming from the States, so you won't see it for 6 months, but it'll be on its way. We're going to do this again next month. Next month, we're going to do what? The Purge, because it's July 4th. Yeah.
July.
So we
Yeah.
got the Purge coming up next month. If you want to get in on the debate, shoot me an email, theplothole1@gmail.com, or get a hold of JL Warren, one of us two. We will more than happily get you on. Eugene, you wanna take part in the Purge?
Oh, absolutely.
See, there we go. Already got 2 movies taken care of right there. Boom. There's what, 3? Are there 4 in the Purge series?
4.
There are 4, yeah, because they have the Purge, the Anarchy, Election Year, and then the beginning, right? Well, not the beginning. What's it called? Origin.
It was like the first year or something like that.
The first year. The
Yeah,
first
was
Purge,
it year 1 or the
Something
first
like
year?
that.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Can I suggest a scary movie?
What you got? You want to do scary movies?
Yeah, The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I actually got to meet him too, by the way. So
Oh, yeah?
Tommy Wiseau. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, hi, Eugene." I was like, "Yes."
I think I would die happy at that point.
That dude's a Swedish vampire, and we all know it.
Yeah. He's
All
like
right,
the Nicolas
Crafty.
Cage.
Crafty's gonna go do O'Reilly and fuck off to bed.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, Crafty.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Crafty. Like I said, I get that sent to you just as soon as I can. These are always fun. We do this every month. We've got enough horror franchises to do this for quite some time. If you like this type of content, go over to the Weekend Horror podcast. Go over to the Weekend Horror on YouTube. All that stuff is going to be linked down in the description below of this video. Check these guys out. Eugene, Alex, and JL put on a fantastic show. It's one of my favorite podcasts. Specifically because I get to nerdgasm out on horror films, and it's so much fun. I was actually able to participate in the, let's see, what was it? The episode 38?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, episode 38. We talked about Bug, we talked about Them, we talked about Jaws, and we talked about one of my favorite silly horror films, The Stuff. If any of you guys have watched any of my videos, you've seen me use The Stuff a couple of times when talking about COVID-19. So, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. I'm going to let everybody do their sign off, and then we're going to get out of here so I can, finish drinking this
God
drink.
damn it. Motherfucking fluffy blanket up in my face.
Fluffy
Pisses me
blanket.
off. I don't like this shit, man. Get off of me.
You love the fluffy blanket.
Not that kind.
All right.
Well, yeah, actually. Okay,
All right, Keith, you go ahead and start us off with your fluffy blanket.
Yeah, guys, tune in. If you enjoyed what you heard, tune into the individual channels, sites. Support us all. This is a great opportunity when we come together and share fun expertise. Always entertaining, always well thought out, and just a good opportunity for you to get involved too. We listen to your comments, so you guys are as involved as we are, and you help promote the show. Be sure to check out www.rockmetaltalk.com. Check out the plot hole. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as all of our friends. We're in this together, and keeps getting more fucking kick-ass every single day.
Yeah, buddy. All right, Sean, what you got?
This is for Keith.
Uh-oh.
So whoever stole my copy of Microsoft Word, I will find you. You have my word.
That's a good one.
So yeah, I like write songs, and I actually have a couple of music opportunities for a few short films coming up. So yeah, they're kind of like Star Wars fan made films, so I'm kind of excited about that. But and then I'm finding like a documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I mean, as soon as I get my fucking white Irish ass to fucking Texas, we can start writing some music, you know?
There we go.
Oh, hells yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
And Keith can make me a good hamburger.
He's going to make you an okay hamburger.
Oh, it's just okay?
Might be able to lay down a drum track or two.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All right, JL, what you got?
Oh, I'm JL, weekendhorror.net. You can check us out there. That's our site. You can also follow us on social media, facebook.com/weekendhorror or at Twitter, Twitter at weekendhorror. And also, if you really, really like what we do, if you really enjoy the show, enjoy our bloodbath debates, or enjoy our After Dark sessions, feel free, if you can, only if you want to, you can support us at Patreon. We have, for as low as $1. We really appreciate it. It helps us make the show, helps us improve the production costs. But we love doing it for you guys. And if you can't, it doesn't matter. You listening means everything to us. So big thank you to everyone in the live chat. Congratulations to Craft Tequila. She's my new ASMR when I'm trying to go to sleep. You guys have been fantastic, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Eugene.
I'm Eugene with Week in Horror, the podcast. Thank you so much for just hanging out with us while we talk about Scream and other horror movies and stuff like that. Like as JL said, weekendhorror.net. We're on YouTube. We're on anywhere that you can check out podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere that there's out there. We do daily splatters on our Facebook and our Twitter, so you get a little bit of horror knowledge every single day. We're up on YouTube now, just Weekend Horror, and you'll see the channel itself. So we already got a couple of episodes. We're throwing some backlog episodes, so that way you can check us out there. And we have our debates, our bloodbath debates. We have our After Dark, where we have special guests from people from the horror industry come and interact with us. And just like JL said, if you like our content, then check out our Patreon page, Patreon/Weekend Horror. We have a couple of tiers, including just a $1 tier, where we shout out. That's less than a cup of coffee every single month, and you get a shout out. So definitely check out our content, and as always, we'll keep doing the Master Debaters.
Yeah, man. It's always fun to have you guys on here. And like Eugene and JL were talking about, Johnny with the plot hole, just in case you forgot, because I'm usually the one that nobody cares about. I'm the black sheep of the group. Is that right? Is that right? No, that's not right.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm going to set the sense out. NANA. Thank you so much. NANA, our newest patron.
Oh, there we go. NANA.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
NANA, you are the fucking man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
If you guys want.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I love fucking movies, I love music, but these two guys are fucking insane. Like, they're out of their fucking mind. Like, I mean, you can't even compete with them, you know? Like, you know, they're debating shit, and I'm just like fucking, you know, like.
No, I don't think you're that, but definitely you're batting 1,000 on that sentiment. These two guys know what they're talking about. They bring it. You can tell they are true fans. I mean, look at the background. Jail drives me nuts with this. I thought they were gears, and Johnny O told me, he's like, no, they're film reels.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a gun. I mean, and I feel like it was listening to a thesis, and then just like you even brought in the soundtrack. I'm like, what the? Jeez.
Yeah.
This is
Like,
why,
yeah,
this is why
it's
we bring
getting
on the experts on this show. We have nothing but top tier talent on the plot hole. Just want you to know that.
I didn't even mention that it was actually kind of controversial that Hans Zimmer's theme that he brought to Scream 2 was actually previously utilized in Broken Arrow. And people were kind of like,
here's the thing. Nobody saw Broken Arrow. Nobody saw Broken Arrow.
So it didn't matter.
Anyway.
I mean, you know, like he brought in the like Keith said, like he brought the soundtracks in earlier in the debate. I'm kind of all thinking like Creed, the best. You know, like.
No, yeah, that was great.
All right. Again, I'm Johnny from the Plot Hole, and like Eugene and JL were talking about, if you can support the stream, that'll be awesome. You can go to theplothole.com, buy this shirt right here, this guy right there, boom. You can buy that if you like. You can donate directly to the stream, or you can go to patreon.com/theplothole1. That's the number 1. And again, for as little as $1 a month, you too can become a Plot Hole producer. We appreciate all your support. Again, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. That's the biggest way you can help us get out there. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I'm Johnny O from the Plot Hole, and I think we're going to say goodbye to this guy here. We're going to say goodbye to, damn it, where are you? There he is. Goodbye to that guy there. And then we're going to do goodbye to that guy there because he's ugly.
You got it all right, Keith.
That's why I love it.
Yeah.